friends, I'm Chris, and this week on Diary of a Gender Fluid, we are doing a Q&A. So I'm just going to take some of the questions off of Tumblr, and I think 2 of the YouTube questions. I think we had some more in an email, but this is my 4th try recording, and I keep running out of room on my iPod, so we're just going to jump right into it. For the Q&A for anyone, how do you tell when your gender has changed? For me, it can be really difficult because sometimes it can happen over several months and sometimes it's over several days. I was wondering how you handled it. So for me, my gender identity never changes. I always identify myself as just straight up genderqueer. And for me, the thing that flows for me is my gender expression. And that I don't really handle in any way. I don't really try to define it or anything. I just kind of let it happen around me. I just dress how I want to dress and act how I want to act, and it's not really consistent with any one gender, which is why I identify myself as gender fluid. Anon says, what does your support system look like? Is there anyone that stands out most for you when it comes to support? So I actually have a really good support system, which I'm super blessed for, but the one standout one that I think of is my church family. There's one guy from my church, when I introduced myself to him and I asked him to use my pronouns, he actually thanked me for using the pronouns that I use because he doesn't like gendering people, and that just speaks to how everyone at my church is. This is just the kind of people that I'm surrounded by, and it's a beautiful thing, and I love them all very much. To anybody who menstruates, how do you deal with menstruating when you are not feeling particularly like a female? Does this cause dysphoria for you? I never feel like a female. My gender identity is never female. I don't change my name or pronouns ever. It's always Chris. It's always they, them. So there's days where I feel feminine and masculine, but for me it's not so much a bodily function kind of related experience. It's just kind of how my expression changes. I see menstruating along the same vein as like peeing and sweating kind of thing. It's just a bodily function that happens that's not super gendered for me. So it does not cause me any discomfort or anything like that. How can I look androgynous without being thin, or how can I look masculine without being thin? Having a chubby, non-angled face and without a flat chest. I don't want hormones or surgery because I feel feminine sometimes. So you were preaching to the choir, pal, because I am Puerto Rican and Ecuadorian and my body follows the same vein as a lot of my family. And so my solution is I work out. Now I don't work out because I want to be thin, because being thin is not inherently being androgynous or masculine. I work out because it gives me a feeling of control over my body, a control over how I'm looking. You can work out in a way that'll make you look more masculine. For me, when I went into the gym, I talked to the trainer and I just said I wanted to build muscle. I wanted to be stronger. And so that's what I'm working on. And it makes me feel a lot more comfortable in my body because I'm changing what I can to make myself feel more comfortable. Sorry about that. And it gives me a feeling of control over my body. I feel like a lot of the discomfort with my feminine features is my lack of control over them. So working out has been very helpful to me. Please don't work out, however, if you were just trying to be thin to look androgynous. Being thin is not synonymous with being androgynous or masculine, and it's not good. Work out because you want to feel good, and you want to just take that step and be like, hey, I am the control of my life. I don't know. Sorry if that was really bad. Narcissa Helga said, hi, I saw your post about your YouTube event and I had a question for it. How do you define when you feel like a woman or like a man? I try to do this myself and end up using stereotypes, which I don't find useful. So I never feel like a woman or a man. Like I mentioned before, I always just kind of feel genderqueer. And when my gender expression does change from masculine to feminine or neither or both, I don't feel the need to define it for myself. I know a lot of people do, and that's fine, but for me, I find it best to just let it happen around me, just how I feel that day, because figuring it out just stresses me out, and I don't feel the need to, because I would feel the need to if I changed my pronoun or name, but I don't, so I just kind of go with it, just let it happen, and I think that's really freeing for me. Can't say it, but it's a very pretty picture you have in your icon. For the Q&A for the whole group, at least one item on your bucket list. So for me, I was thinking about it, and I think maybe being on Broadway. Not like for a full run, maybe like a one-off show or something. Like, I feel like that would be really fun. It's something I've always dreamed of, but I don't see myself as much of an actor, so maybe just like a one-night engagement or something. Or like do something like Jim Parsons' show he's doing right now, which I want to see so bad, where he's basically like God takes over his body or whatever, and he talks to the audience as God. It sounds hilarious, but I think being in a Broadway production is definitely on the bucket list for me. And we have 2 more, so let me grab those. I have to open them off of my computer. Please talk about non-binary representation in the media, what you would or would not like to see, and how the very little representation affects you as a non-binary individual. So we did a whole week on this, but I think the takeaway from it is just that the lack of representation sucks on several accounts. Things that I would not like to see are like the fetishization of, that's horrible, fetishization of people like Ruby Rose, where people are going like, oh, best of both worlds. It's not. That's really weird and makes like a lot of us uncomfortable. I don't want to speak for anyone but myself, so it makes me very uncomfortable. I'm not the best of both worlds. I'm not the ideal partner for a bisexual person. I am myself, and my experience is different from everyone else's experience, in the same way that everyone else's experience is different from everyone else's experience. Please don't make it like a hot ticket thing where it's like, oh yeah, Ruby Rose, best of both worlds. It's like a guy and a girl in one, because that's not what it is, and it's really not cool. Do you find your gender fluidity comes and goes on its own, no predictable pattern, or do you find your gender fluxing in response to social stress or stimulation, or both? Love the group, by the way. We love you too. Okay, so let me put this away. The only kind of stimulus that kind of affects it is when I have a crush on someone. I feel like I need to be the opposite. So like, if they're a guy, I feel the need to be more feminine, and if they're a girl, I feel the need to be more masculine. But that's just internalized heteronormativity that I'm trying to combat myself, because you should not change yourself for anyone. But as far as how I feel like my expression goes and things like that, yeah, it's not super in response to anything. Alright, so I'm going to try to be quick, because this is normally around the time when it runs out. So if it runs out, I'm just going to put the rest of what I'm saying in the description. But I got into college in the fall, which is exciting. However, I now have a job, a volunteer job. I will have college and my own YouTube to worry about, plus trying to get music things off the ground. I'm a very busy person, and unfortunately, I no longer have the availability to keep doing Diary of a Gender Fluid. So you guys have been really kind and lovely and beautiful, and I'm so glad to have gotten to know so many of you, and you guys can always still talk to me. My Tumblr's still up and everything. I'm still going to be doing things, however, I just feel like weekly videos on Diary of a Gender Fluid my videos have been going downhill, and my time is just not as free, and I feel like I could be giving more to you guys than I am. So I really appreciate this experience, and I love you all, and I don't know. If whoever ends up taking over for Saturdays, you feel free to keep using Saturdays, because I think that's dope. And yeah, that's all from me. I want to say see you next Saturday, but I won't. So thank you all for a very special experience. I'll say happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I'll see you when I see you. Catch you on the flippity flop. Oh god, that was so bad. Okay, no, we're done here. This is a mess. Bye.